are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Hello, I'm your Superintendent, Jason Manuel.
And I am Mason Grace. Thank you for joining us for the latest installment of the Germantown Municipal School District's Spotlight on Excellence.
We have a great lineup for you today. For our program highlight, we'll check in with a school board member to see what the GMSD has planned for the upcoming Riverdale expansion. For our teacher feature, we will visit with Jim Smith, who's been the band director at Houston High School for the past 25 years.
But first, we'll check in with Rhee for our student spotlight, who will share some musical talents and talk to us about our exciting plans to play at Carnegie Hall later this month. Rhee, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, one of the exciting things in Germantown is that we have such exceptional students. And so there is something that you excel at for our district. Can you tell us a little bit about one of the things that you do so well?
Well, one of my favorite hobbies is that I play cello. I've been playing for around 7 years now, so yeah.
So tell me about the cello, because that's a larger instrument. Is that the first instrument that you had played, or did you kind of just get into that more recently?
Well, first I played piano for a while, and we tried to balance piano and cello, but my sister and I figured out that we had a better passion for cello, so we took on cello.
So you've played 7 years,
Yes,
so what grade are you in now?
I'm a sophomore. I'm 10th
Sophomore
grade.
at Houston High School. And so when did you start? What's the math there? What grade were you when you started?
Like second, third grade, fourth grade, third grade, yeah.
Did you start with private lessons, or how did you get into?
Yeah, it's private lessons. We just contacted someone, so yeah, we started with private lessons.
Oh, that's exciting. Do you still play piano?
Oh, no, sir. I had to quit.
So now you're focused?
Yes, sir. Fully on cello.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, tell us about your practice schedules, because obviously it's something you're passionate about. What do you do? Is it every day? Is it?
It's not that very easy to balance school and cello. Like, it's very tedious to keep up with, and but you know, through the years of playing cello, I've kind of developed a better appreciation for cello. I've learned to like classical music. I really love listening to classical music. I think it's very calming and helps me focus better. So it's, yeah.
So what are the differences between playing cello versus violin or one of the other strings?
It's the best instrument, obviously. But yeah, I think it kind of keeps the good bass for like the whole orchestra. And it's also like, it's a really pretty sound too, so.
Okay, now there's something very special that you have an opportunity to do, and can you tell us what that is?
I'll be going to New York to perform at Carnegie Hall, and I'll be going with this program called Honors Series Performance, and it's just like a huge thing that is like nationwide, and you get to have a good chance to perform at Carnegie, so it's really exciting.
That's exciting.
Are you going with a big group, or are you playing by yourself? Is this a solo?
Oh no, it's with a big group.
It's
yeah.
okay.
Oh, that's exciting. So was there an audition process to,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
to do this?
Like last summer, we had to send in a recording of yourself, and then a few months later, you'll get a notification if you got selected or not.
So if you're playing as a group, will there be times where y'all practice as a group together prior to the performance at Carnegie Hall? Or
they will send out like music first, and then we'll have to prepare for it. And then when we get at Carnegie Hall, we'll have like a good performance, I guess, or like a better way, like just to touch up little things, and then the performance will be on
So
the
these are people selected from all across the country.
Yes, sir.
So you all get your pieces, you practice, and then you come together for like one quick practice before the big show.
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
That's pretty amazing.
But now we have other groups who are going to Carnegie Hall too, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Houston High's orchestra is also going to Carnegie Hall, so it's also a good opportunity for them to experience what it'll feel like to play at Carnegie.
Oh, that's exciting. Now, tell us a little bit, you mentioned your sister also played piano. Does she also play cello too?
Oh, yes, sir. She played like probably 8 years, 9 years. Yeah, I definitely look up to her as my inspiration, and she helps me guide like throughout my cello life, and you know, like she's like a private tutor to me a little bit. And
Now,
yeah.
what year is your sister?
Oh, she's a junior at Houston High.
Jasmine, correct?
Jasmine Rhee, yes.
Okay. Oh, that's so exciting. Well, I think we're going to get the opportunity to hear you and Jasmine play together. Now, is this common that y'all play together? Do y'all practice together? Or?
Yeah, we play some duets, and we like to practice together too.
Oh, well, wonderful. Well, we're going to take a moment so that we can see Jasmine and Ruby play together. We have to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk with school board member Lisa Parker and get some insight on the exciting plans for the Riverdale edition. Please stay with us.
Get caught buzz driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom.
It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome back. I am Superintendent Jason Manuel. For this part of the show, we get to visit with a member of the Germantown Board of Education.
Lisa Parker, the former chairperson, and Mr. Manuel has been working hard at work planning the upcoming edition of Riverdale School. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you.
Well, you have a history with Riverdale. It didn't start when you were elected as a board member. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Riverdale School.
Well, when we moved to Germantown in 1986, we moved about 6 houses down from Riverdale School, and I got involved by being the crossing guard at Riverdale. And then that got me involved, and then I went on to be a member of the PTA. It was PTA back then, and then I was Ways and Means Chairman, and then was elected as President of the school, President of the PTA, and served for 2 years in that capacity. And then was involved in, back then, consolidation reared its ugly head with the Shelby County Schools and Memphis City Schools. And I got involved in politics and then ran for alderman for the city of Germantown. So that kind of led me into where I am today.
But you haven't stopped being involved with Riverdale. You've still kept a presence at that school.
No, it does have a special place in my heart. And back then, that was an open school concept. They had pods. Each grade had a pod. And the kids were having a hard time learning because there were three grades in each pod. So we took on the great fundraising effort to build walls, and that's what we did. We built walls for Riverdale. So each teacher has his own classroom now.
Well, Riverdale is a great school, and I think it shows because of the growth we've had at that school since it was built, and it is uniquely to this area. It's a K through 8 model, which it's the only K through 8 we have. Mr. Manuel, what started the idea of this project? Why was it a need, and what's a...
Well, I think one of the things that the board identified, even before you hired me, was that portables is not a permanent solution. And
Right.
currently at Riverdale, we have 22 portables. And we realized we really want a brick and mortar solution to house the current student body. But I think when we first started looking at this project, we were just looking at replacement value. Number 22 classrooms for 22 portables. But that's not where it ended.
So what was involved in the decision? Was it just the two of you making the decision, or was there more involved, or how did this come about?
Well, I think each one, as we were able to have our own school board, all 5 school board members said we need to get rid of those portables. To having 22 portables there for at least 17 years was not what it needs to be. And of course, when it was a Shelby County school, the district lines went all the way to 64. And of course, as you know, the growth of Shelby County and not having additional schools, it just made it grow and grow and grow. And that's why you had portables back there. And it just wasn't able to fit a school like that. And you can help me with the capacity of that school. It was like 800.
Yes, and they're sitting at 1,200 right now.
Right, so it wasn't meant to have that many students. So we were either going to have to add on to that or build an addition to. Well, we're doing a little bit of both. So
you asked about how we really designed it. I think one of the special things we do in this district is we involve all of our stakeholders. And so we got parents from the PTA, we got the administrators, we've got teachers, we got board members, we've got district staff that are all coming and looking at what are the programmatic needs of that K through 8 model. And one of their limiting factors are things like a science lab. They have 2 science labs that serve the entire school, but we're going to have a science lab that's a little bit different. It serves I&I, which is innovations and inventions. It's a STEM class where they're really doing application of science and math.
And I remember the first meeting we had when we had the stakeholders there, they said we need light. There was no light. We had classrooms that didn't have windows. They didn't know if it was raining, the sun was shining. They had no idea. And then one of the PE teachers said, I want a gym that was a regular size middle school gym. We don't even have a regular size middle school gym. And the ideas that were just popping out of them, it was amazing to see. And especially for those that are living in the building. We're not living in the building. We wanted those that were living in the building to tell us what they want, not what they need. Not what they want, but what they need.
I think that's very important to get the feedback of the community and the schools and the teachers and even the students. I think we took some of that. What are some of the other programs that you took into consideration when you were designing the new building?
Well, we really have a whole MAPS wing. So Ms. Parker talked about the gym. It's an old joke that you couldn't take a 3-point shot at Riverdale's gym because there's this much space between the out of bounds and where the 3-point line ends. You'd have to stand on 1 foot to shoot. But they've also added an art studio so that students can come in there, and it's got room, and the lighting is different than what we've experienced in the past. It's got sinks, it's got a kiln room attached to it. Exciting MAPS programs for our kids.
It looks like a real art studio, not like a professional one.
And I think Ms. Parker talked about the light, and I think that's one of the exciting things about this addition. There is so much glass front on this building that you're going to be able to see through the hallways into large windows in the classrooms. So it's a really exciting, different school. We want it to be different than what Shelby County historically had built.
And one of the most important thing was the teachers wanted an additional bathroom. They only had 1 bathroom for staff, and I think we've added 3 more.
Yes.
So we've tripled it. So.
And what about the exterior? I mean, that's important. You know, we're thinking about the curb appeal. What's that going to look like? Can you describe that a little bit?
I think it's exciting, and you'll see some of the pictures that they're showing. There are 3 main bays to the school. So you have a MAPS wing, you have a major classroom, so you have a gym. But in between those, we're really integrating the landscape. So they're called bioswales, which really control the water flow, and they're going to have natural plantings, grasses that grow up and control the water flow. And you'll be able to see that through the glass hallways. So as you're approaching the school, you're going to see the glass hallways, you're going to see the plantings. So it's going to be a much different school experience.
As you know, Riverdale already has a lot of the plantings up there now, so we wanted to be able to continue that with their ecology.
And they have a great, I think, outdoor classroom there now. Is there any thought of that, any plannings with that?
Yeah, so we have several different plans to incorporate outdoor classrooms and patios outside the art classroom, for example, and then in the front of the school as you're approaching the main entry. It's going to be an exceptional facility, and we're putting our Germantown brand on our first facility.
And that was very important for the board, to make sure that as we do this expansion and addition, to make sure that that Germantown brand is there, and as we continue to do expansions, and even if we have to build a new school, we'll make sure that Germantown brand continues.
Excellent.
We have to take another short break. To see our school board in action, you can watch the live streaming events, or you can find the past recorded meetings on the GMSD website. When we come back, we'll spend some time with the award-winning Houston High School band director. Please stay with us.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome back. I am Superintendent Jason Manuel.
And I am Mason Grace.
And you're watching GMSD's Spotlight on Excellence. We want to spend the last moments highlighting an exemplary teacher in a segment we call the Teacher Feature. With us today is Jim Smith, teacher and the program director of the Houston High School Band. But I think there's more to it than that. I think what's special, Mr. Smith, and you know this is your band. You created this program at this school. You started this. And to think about all the lives that you've touched and all the students that have come through, it's a special time for us. And so we appreciate everything that you've done for our district and for all of our students.
Thank you. So 25 years, right? So you were the first band director here at Houston High School, is that correct?
I was actually the second. I was the first high school with a high school program, Jeff Cousins, whom we all know, who was eventually the principal at Arlington High School, was a band director here for a year before.
For a year, okay. Looking back over 25 years, what's the biggest memory or the biggest memories you have thinking back at your program?
They're all child-based. I've been fortunate enough to teach some very talented children. Mm-hmm. Fortunate enough to teach some children that weren't necessarily very talented, but worked really, really hard. And there's a story with every child about something they've accomplished or something that's happened that I hope as they've graduated and moved on has made their plight a little bit easier in the world. We won a lot of trophies. We've won so many trophies, I've lost trophies, I couldn't tell you where all the trophies are. We could open a used trophy shop down there, but it's gotten to be, especially the last 6 or 7 years for me, almost nothing about the trophy and just more about the journey.
But speaking of the journey, And we are sad to, this will be your last year with our Houston High School Band, but I'm hoping that you're still going to be here in different forms and fashions. But this has been a good year. They talk about leaving on a high note for you.
Been a very good year. We won, our share of marching competitions. Put 100 kids on the all-district band list. Over 20 going to all-state. Both of those are, the 100 is a record for us for sure, and I think probably certainly the most that any school in the state has on their all-district band list.
So I think when we talk about the all-district, the all-West band, when you look at a picture of it, there are a whole lot of Houston faces on that picture.
There are. We're about 1 out of every 6 kids, and we're certainly not 1 out of every 6 high schools, but about 1 out of every 6 kids in an all-West band is a Houston kid.
For someone not involved, what is All West? What is it?
That's our all-district band. The children practice. It's not something we focus a lot on in the program. We post a list and they sign up. But the children of Germantown parents are competitive children. They get that from their moms and dads. And they practice really, really hard. And then they go and audition for spots in the all-district band with the kids from every high school this side of the Tennessee River and a few just the other side of the Tennessee River.
And how many did you say made the cut this year?
100.
100. And now I think there is like a first string or first chair. How many of those did you have?
Most of them.
Most of them? Okay.
I don't have that number on the top of my head, but quite a few.
Quite a few.
I'm very proud of the job the kids did with the audition.
Well, I think you mentioned something important, that it's not just students that make a program great. It's not just the directors who make the program great. There's a parent component too, and I think you have some exceptional parents. Tell us a little bit about...
We do. Brian and Dina Spangler are the presidents of our booster group. We come, well, and I'm not picking on you here, but especially with the fledgling district, there's not a lot of extra money there that you can just pipe into a band program. It's about a $300,000 a year operation, and that money's, for the most part, raised and extorted, or however you want to look at it, by a band booster group that also turns up to build props and paint things and to chaperone children when they need it, and it's not just money raising. I was here last night and the night before with quite a few parents up here doing functions, and I'll be here again tonight with parents doing some functions, and they all seem to want to be involved in their children's lives. I think that's why the band works so well.
I remember seeing and being at a football game, and it's almost halftime, and I see all these adults with all this equipment walking out there, and I'm thinking, are they going to play? What are they doing? And
that's
it turns
our
out
pit crew. Daryl Moore runs that group for me this year. It's become kind of a traveling tailgate party, too. Every time we go to a contest, there'll be, I think there are 50 or 60 parents that want to do that so they can also get hooked up on the cookout in the parking lot.
They're like the band roadies, right?
Yes, they are, exactly. That's what they are, band roadies.
Great.
Now, you talked about sets, and we're trying to draw some memories out from you. I've seen a Monty Python set with a flying cow going over a castle. I think it was a French contemporary theme this year.
It was.
Are there certain shows that you do remember fondly, or think, oh my goodness, that was a train wreck, that show was hard to do?
What makes us different than other high school bands in the area, I try to do a show, and we try to do a show every year that'll have some Friday night entertainment value in it. Most high school bands these days are doing a show about man's struggle against the elements or some kind of dark sort of thing. And I had a young man named Jake Ingalls, who now is a guitar player with the Flaming Lips, played Freebird on top of a 15-foot smoking tower one time in a radio show we did. We try to find something that'll entertain the crowd on Friday night and still do okay to contest on Saturday.
Is it strange when you're watching TV or watching something and you recognize somebody? Does it happen often?
It happens a lot. There was one time this last summer where between Letterman and Jimmy Fallon's show, there were 3 of my students in 1 week that were on with their music groups on one show or the other performing that week. So that was pretty nice. Makes you feel pretty good.
It's exceptional to know that your program is having a long-lasting impact on students.
Like I say, I'll be leaving in May, and the long-lasting impact part now will fall on you two guys. Y'all help them out all that you can, and I can assure you my parents and Matt Taylor, who'll be left behind here to do the work, they certainly will appreciate it. So.
We will, and we're hoping that we see you here still often.
Okay.
Well, that's all we have time for on this month's Spotlight on Excellence. We will close out the show with a snippet of this year's performance, I Love Paris, at one of the many regional competitions the Houston Band has traveled to. If you'd like more information about this or any other show on Germantown Municipal Television, visit us on our website at www.gmtvonline.org. Until next time, this has been Superintendent Jason Manuel for this month's installment of the Germantown Municipal School District's Spotlight on Excellence.
What about us? We'll always have time.